What's up, YouTube? What's up? So this is part. Damn, I'm gonna have to edit this. This is part two from Angie Stone and D'Angelo from yesterday. This is part two. I wanted to finish it up, but I've always thought that D'Angelo was sacrificed because after Angie Stone passed, and she was suing, trying to get her money from Clyde Davis, and she was apparently owed $50 million, and the family was keeping that going, and I believe they sacrificed D'Angelo as a warning to her son, you know, to her children, that this gonna happen to you if you keep this up. Now that's my belief. And I wanted to get off into that. I only went live on my phone. I'm gonna see how this does. So what up, what up, what up? Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Ooh, excuse me. So let's just get into it. I know it's cold as hell here in Detroit. I know that. I want to hit this. And we're going to get off into her autopsy and all that. This is so Madame, Fame versus Sacrifice. I love her.
I look at your neighbor and say she finna bring it tonight. I say somebody look at your neighbor and say she finna bring it tonight. And if you ain't got a neighbor, look at yourself and say she finna bring it to fuck a night. Oh, we gonna jump right into it, cause that's how we do it over here.
Fame versus Sacrifice. So Madame.
I ain't gonna tear it too long tonight, y'all. But I told y'all I was gonna come back with a part two of this Angie Stone situation. Come on, let's do it. A video had popped up on my timeline. And I saw a video of Tamala Man. And she was singing a song called Take Me to the King. That was a beautiful song. I had to make it my own, though. After she got done singing that song, I said, shit, take me to the queen. Where's she at? And if I must say so myself.
Hey, Marty.
Tamala Man, she is looking so
How you doing?
beautiful. Even when she was, thicker than a snicker, she was still beautiful.
She was.
Okay. So, ancestors, they took me to another video clip, y'all.
Hey, Roman, how you doing, babe? You gonna stay, Marty? Thank you. This part two.
This particular part of the funeral service. You see Angie Stone's sorority sisters. And they all standing around her casket. How many sorority sisters do you see on the stage? Around the
I'm
mic.
glad, Roman. Hey, Money Low, this part two.
And all of them is wearing the color black. I'm going somewhere with this to fuck a good night. All of them wearing the color black. And
now, you don't ask nobody how old they are. Now, come on now. I'm old enough.
When you get some time. Now, when you listen to a particular part,
y'all hit that like button, please. Singing, thank you, Money Look. I love you.
They said, and I quote, they said, "We will love you ever and forsake you never." Ancestors begin to speak to me. And ancestors said, not only was Angie Stone was going to expose things about the different people that was in the music industry, But she was going to also expose that satanic, evil ass a sister sorority. She was going to expose them, y'all. Let's go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole, my people. Ancestors, they said that Angie Stone said, fuck that sorority group. And this is what ancestors told me to say for Angie Stone. And ancestors also said if anybody got an issue with what they told me to say, you gotta go through them. Listen to me closely. That sister sorority gang, because that's exactly what it is, a gang. That sister sorority was a place of manipulation, where they controlled the sorority sisters emotionally.
Facts.
And mental conditioning were deeply ingrained in the environment.
Facts.
Angie Stone said the sorority was presented to her as a place of empowerment, to uplift each other as sisters, etc. But Angie Stone ended up finding out that it was just the opposite, my people. She started to see how them bitches really get the fuck down. She said the head sorority sisters, they was using psychological tactics and shit like that to make the sorority sisters go against each other. She said dark, toxic rituals were put in place. And they were put in place to make the sorority sisters feel obligated to conform / adapt to a system that ultimately didn't even give a fuck about them.
Yep, I agree, Money Low.
She said the sorority had constant power struggles. In other words, everybody wanted to be the fuck boss. Everybody wanted to be the leader. Me, instead of we. Instead of teamwork. That's what she said. And a woman in that sorority, they turned into rivals. Betraying her. And also betraying each other. Instead of having like a true, honest friendship. So when y'all saw them standing around her casket. Yes, I know y'all saw it. That was all for show.
Facts.
Because they all fake towards each other. Just using one another to go higher in the game.
Facts.
/ the organization. Okay. And the way they do it is, may the best one win. May the most evilest one win. She said when she finally start to see, the sorority's toxic power dynamics, she was going to end up exposing them. Just like she was going to do with the industry. But it was too late. When y'all saw them sorority sisters at Angie Stone's funeral, people didn't realize that was a dark ritual that was taking place. And that song that they were singing, it was filled with ritualistic messages, okay? But some people ain't gonna even get it. When you see people from them sororities, them organizations coming to a funeral, you should already know what the fucker is upper. Ancestor said, Angie Stone want us to look close at the date that she was inducted in a sorority. And it was in July 2024.
Okay, Pamela.
At the sorority's
You can put. Okay.
She was inducted in July 2024. And then all of a sudden, she said, I want y'all to think about something. And then all of a sudden, the following year, she said she ended up, what? dying.
Damn.
Angie Stone said this sorority group, they know more than what they appear to act like they know. She said the sorority group, they know what the fucker is up. And they got blood on their fucker hands. Now y'all know how we do it over here. Murder by them fuckers numbers. Angie Stone, she passed away. Transition on March 1st, 2025. Now let's add that date up and see what it is we get. 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5 equal what? 13. 1 times 3 equal what? 3. They go to 3 right there, my people. She died at age 63. They go to 3-6 right there, already in her age. They ain't even try to hide this one. I'm gonna say this. I gotta say allegedly, but the industry wasn't the only ones who benefited from her death. There's many players that played in this game against Angie Stone. Okay, y'all? But what I want y'all to do is just watch the board. I'm saying this for a reason. Watch the board. Okay? And I'm gonna remind y'all of this video, because we're gonna see some key players.
And we damn sure did. We damn sure did. Because I ain't even think they was going to do D'Angelo like that. I did not think that. This is impressive.
She was also one of the pioneers of hip-hop, and she was cheated out of money from Arista and UMG. And you know UMG is currently going through a legal battle with Drake right now. So the fact that Angie was gearing up to sue the label says a lot. I mean, there's some crooked stuff going on over there. A lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties, all my mechanicals. But they have taken all the monies that were due to me, people that were working on my behalf, never even registered the songs, all the songs that I've done. I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. So I'm truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people.
Key people.
That have been driving the ships.
Clive Davis.
And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. The legal side, when you hire attorneys and managers and agents, they're supposed to make sure the gray area over there that they're in the driver's seat for, they're supposed to make sure you're taken care of. So I'm just here to let you know, one way or the other, Universal Music, you're going to have to give up my coins. I mean, when you sit back and think.
And when she wanted them coins, they was like, we ain't giving you that much money. This was on Vlad.
You know, switching Tommy 10.7. Well, maybe it's
this is her cutting ties with Clive Davis.
Reality TV in your day. And I know you went on Celebrity Fit Club. What made you make
I need to let this play. Go get the groceries up. Get the stuff out my car. I forgot.
I was on that pressure zone, I told you. I was so sick of the fat jokes. I decided that if I put myself on TV, then I'd have to face those demons. I couldn't go on there and not lose no weight. So it was a dare to myself. Angie, I dare you to go on there because if I go on there, I got to lose the weight. And that was what I was. I went on there because I wanted to challenge myself to do what I needed to do on my own. And that's the only reason I went on there. And if you notice, first week I think I lost the most weight. But I got wore out because they went in a snake valley. And when I lost all my guts, is when we went on the basketball court, I saw all these smashed dead snakes. And then we had
Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry.
bushes. I said, I'm not walking through that. I was hyperventilating the whole time because it was over.
Of that show, you wearing that?
I'm not.
Yes,
I want her
sure.
to get to Clyde
Bringing in all the
Davis.
students. I think I was rubbed the wrong. Diary of a Soul Sister. It was what the album was going to. So that's the real reason that I left, because Diary of a Soul Sister.
Okay, here we go.
This album. Well, the straw that broke the camel's back was shortly after that. They told me I had to change the name of my album because Alicia was doing Diary of Alicia Keys.
Mm.
And at that point, my chest sunk in. And I wrote Clive a letter and asked for a release. Because at that point I felt like, okay, this ain't how it's supposed to be. So that's the real reason that I left, because Diary of a Soul Sister was in the works, and that came about. But I think there were two things working against me. And I think that, when I walked away, nobody really looked up. I just felt like I was kind of pushed out, if you know what I mean, because intuition is a mother.
Yep.
You feel me?
Yep.
So that's my truth.
Huh.
That's deep, ain't it?
Yeah, it's
I'm
very
just saying.
deep. I'm absorbing it, because I've never heard this before.
You wouldn't, because one thing about me, I haven't done a biopic because everybody.
Facts, Money Law.
My
Facts.
story is so deep that it will uncover layers and layers, and I'm talking about layers of truth. And I think people are really afraid because they know. And so I've almost abandoned the idea of doing a biopic. I really don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to see anybody lose their cool. But I mean, I've helped managers, Keita Master, Erica Badu, all of them. A lot of people think, oh, this one discovered this one. No, Erica will tell you. Angie is the one who helped get me through the doors with that whole. We had a show in Dallas.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I did not know that.
Think about her. But
She had a good heart.
but they would never go back and say Angie Stone had something to do with us. That's why I tell you, a lot of things were kind of swept under the rug. But Erica has told the story because she knows the truth. I just, when I heard that people were saying they braided D'Angelo's hair. They didn't. I braided his hair with string. With those people, it was just so much that I could talk about. That.
Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I got that right. Because D'Angelo is known for them cornrows.
Yeah, I braided his hair with string. He didn't have enough hair when he did the brown sugar cover. I created that look for him. And
Damn, I ain't know that.
Telling my story, there would be a lot to tell, but I'm not interested in.
Wow, she was good peoples, and they took her. All she wanted was her just do her money. We gonna get into her autopsy. Oh shoot, I like this girl, Korean Alu. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to do that last. I ain't gonna even do that. We're gonna do the crash. This is TMZ about the crash. And she was the only one unalived in that crash. They saying that she was unalive before. And as I showed in the first video, if y'all go back to my part 1, because it's part 2, that all the people, her band and all the people in that van had signed non-disclosure agreements with Clyde Davis. Stop! Sorry about that. Non-disclosure agreements with Clyde Davis. Why would they sign that? And you driving to a show. This is the crash. That's the truck. And that's from TMZ. And like I said, they use the same thing over and over again. Why? Because it works. They use the same thing. It's a car crash, brakes go out, a plane crash. Stop it, I'm live. Damn it. Plane crash, overdose. What else is it? Overdose, plane crash, car crash, discredit you like Michael Jackson, make up all kind of claims. You end up, whatever. They use the same tactics because it works. Before we get into Angelo, let me see. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that last. This is her autopsy report. This is Stone Paxton, a good friend of hers.
Sensitive shit. Today, right now. Why not? Today, right now. This moment. Why is there Stone Paxton and my other folks, because it's only a few of us that are about to do this. Why is it us? Diagnosis. Okay? Here we are. You guys ready for number 1? Here it is. And there's just a lot of things I feel like that are missing in this report, but of course this is not the police report. Remember, this is the autopsy report. Blunt force injuries. So we're going to break that down. Blunt force injuries. A, head and neck. Conjunctival, it says pachia of both eyes, pachia of oral mucosis, I'm sorry. So conjunctional pachia of both eyes and pachia of oral mucosis.
Right, money low.
It sounds like to me, that's like whenever there's some sort of strain going on, like, and there's not enough blood getting to, like, instead of the oral mucus, that's the mouth, which is the tongue.
Okay, I need you to go faster.
But any only other way you would be pinned is if something had to be laying halfway out of that van, and it had to be out of that window side. So maybe half of her body was laying out, and that's how she was laying under to be pinned between the van and the ground, right? That's the only way. Well, you'd think it would have been a little bit more detailed, but that's probably in the police report, right? So, contributory, they got the contributory here. It says, blunt force injuries of the torso. So listen to that. Blunt force injuries of the torso, hypertensive, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. So they just put it all together. I don't know how they're saying that diabetes and all that was part of, like, the cause of death, when really the cause of death would just be traumatic asphyxiation. That's really the cause. But they added all the other things that was wrong with her, like diabetes and all that.
Well, shit, when he say asphyxiation, that's strangling, right? Let me go to this other report. This is the other autopsy report. This is tough news.
Dang, it took a long time. She passed away on March 1st, right? 2 months later, or whatever the case may be. But then I had to remind myself that when you're dealing with more complex cases like this, it could take anywhere from 1 to 4 months to come to a conclusion as it pertains to the ending results of the autopsy report. But anyway, I want you guys to check out this clip where Stone Paxton is breaking it all
This
down.
Stone.
And I'll be back
So
to give
he
you some
used
more of
Stone
my 2
Paxton, the
cents.
video I had.
There it is right there. You see, as you can see, we're going to go over it. And you guys are going to be rather shocked because I was. So, we're going to read the autopsy report. This report is from the Department of Forensic Science out of Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, that is. And it is dated March 3rd, 2025. Now, here's what bothers me. Okay, this was done on March 3rd. The autopsy was done March 3rd. So if it was done March 3rd, why did it take so long to release an autopsy? Why? Why? It happened on the 1st. They did the autopsy 2 days later. I know the autopsy was done early because I talked to this detective called Detective Panther from Alabama. He told me it had already been done. He said he was waiting for the autopsy. Right? But why was the accident on the 1st and autopsy was done on the 3rd? Why so long? And then we're just now seeing it appear. Why now? Why are we seeing the autopsy now?
Because it was altered.
A good time to put out the autopsy. Why now? Why now? It's a question. Why not a press release to talk about the autopsy? We have it. Angie Stone, and here's the weird part, because you think they would have Angela Laverne Brown Stone, right? You think they would have that. County of Death, Montgomery, age 63, race black, at least they didn't, bro. I hate when I see, bro, you know, when they have it on the application and say race, I don't know why I've always been bothered by when they do that, right? Female, length 63 inches, weight 160 pounds, healthy, beautiful woman. Final diagnosis is what it says on the autopsy. Final diagnosis. Okay? Here we are. You guys ready for number 1? Here it is. And there's just a lot of things I feel like that are missing in this report, but of course this is not the police report. Remember, this is the autopsy report. Blunt force injuries. So we're going to break that down. Blunt force injuries. A, head and neck.
Damn, where's that?
Conjunctival, it says pachia of both eyes, pachia of oral mucosis, I'm sorry. So conjunctional pachia of both eyes and pachia of oral mucosis. Now, it sounds like to me, that's like whenever there's some sort of strain going on, like, and there's not enough getting to, like, instead of the oral mucus, that's the mouth, which is the tongue, and then of course the eyes, so like something that's, you're being strained or something, right? It's causing like the strains, and you get these like blots and patches on your tongue or your eyes from being strained. Like when a person gets, you know, I'm not saying that's what happened because we're going to go through reading it. But if a person gets, you see that in their eyes, right? They get these blots in their eyes. That's from the vessels and the veins and stuff.
Right, because he said asphyxiation, which is strangulation. So just like when they unalive Ron Brown, and he had a plane crash in the late 90s, Bill Clinton had him, when they did the autopsy, he was shot in the head. Then it was a plane crash. And they never want to, you gonna head to bed? No, I ain't heading to bed, Mason. No.
Being strained, right? B, torso. Minor abrasions Number 2, fractures of lateral left ribs 4, 5, and 10.
Damn.
Okay, number 3 says fractures of the interior 2nd through 6th left ribs. Okay. Number 4 says laceration of spleen with associated hemoperitoneum. Number 5 says lacerations of right ventricle of heart with associated same thing,
Right, Money Low.
Pericardium. Hemopericardium, I'm sorry. So I'll read that again. Number 5 says lacerations of right ventricle heart with associated pericardium. Okay, pericardium. There it is. I'm sorry. It's all medical words, so you got to really dig deep and make sure you say them right. C, category C, extremities. Number 1, abrasions of a right shoulder region. That's right here, you guys. Number 2, abrasions of both knees. Y'all starting to paint the picture now. We starting to get close to, you starting to see the picture of possibly what happened. We're going to get to it.
It sound like to me they beat the shit out of her. That's what it sound like to me, and then strangled her. That's what it sound like to me. I don't know what it sound. This is more than a, and she the only one that was on. Yeah, she was unalive before she was in that van. That's for sure. Not based on this.
Number C. Hold on.
Allegedly.
Number D, excuse me.
Allegedly.
D, history of motor vehicle crash. Y'all ready? History of motor vehicle crash. Descendant found pinned beneath the vehicle. So she was pinned. So this is my assumption. When the van flipped, when the van flipped, and then it finally made its final destination land, because it doesn't say it in here, this is my assumption. She got thrown probably out of that side window where she was sitting, and she was pinned under. Because it says she was pinned. I'm reading it. It said history of motor vehicle.
But she was the only one that didn't survive. And them other people signed NDAs, her band members, with Clyde Davis. Damn.
And descendant found pinned beneath the vehicle. So that means beneath the ground in the vehicle she was pinned. So that explains when they talked about the eyes and the mucocus, that's the tongue. It had, the dots. What it gets is like red and purple dots on the tongue, and the same thing in the eyes that comes from the circulation being cut off. Like, because you got to remember, think about all that pressure that was on her. The vehicle, all the pressure that was on her, that van, the Sprinter, all the pressure laying on her. Now, I'll tell you what was told to me. I've never revealed this. That morning of the hospital conversation with Shayna didn't say too much, but then later on that day, I get a phone call, and these are the things I was told. I was told that Angie was screaming. Now, this is the first time I'm sharing this, that she was yelling for help. She was yelling for help. She was screaming. She was yelling for help. Now this makes sense why she was yelling for help. They said she was yelling. This was told to me. I never shared this. But now I'm putting 2 and 2 together. She was yelling for help. It makes sense. She's pinned. She's asking for help. She's barely breathing. It's crushing her her ribs. I just broke it down to you how many of her ribs were right? Her eyes were probably, she's having a hard time seeing because that heavy van was putting pressure on everything. It was cutting blood circulation off. So that's going to happen. She wanted it off of her. She was asking for help. Maybe this is why nobody could help, because trying to imagine lifting a Sprinter. But they do say whenever you're in a situation and there's fear, you get the strength of how many
Facts.
Animals to be able to
Facts.
move something. So I think if enough people came together, they could have lifted that Sprinter off of her. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I feel like they could have lifted it. If everybody in that band came together and tried their hardest, they could have lifted it. Okay? Now also goes into the natural diseases that she had. Hypertension, cardiovascular disease. That's A. Number one, cardiomyopathy. Number two, left ventricle hypertrophy. I'm sorry. Number three, nephroclerosis. I actually got to look that up because I don't know what that means. Number B is it says cardiovascular disease. One, calcific coronary artery disease. Number two, aortic, iliac, and mesenteric arteriosclerosis. I got to say it right. Atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis, you guys. Sorry, I'm so damn tongue twisted. These medical words will have your tongue twisted around. Anyway, so that's what it says there. So let's go down a little bit further. It says Angie Stone, here's the case number. It says dense abrasions of both pleural cavities, dense adhesions of both pleural cavities. Number D, history of diabetes. We already know that, right? Cause of death, final cause of death. This is what they said. Traumatic asphyxiation. Traumatic asphyxiation. All right, there we are.
All right, so you guys just heard all of that, and
That's choking. Asphyxiation is choking. We're about to get into D'Angelo in one moment. Let me see what this is. This Sloan guy, she's supposed to be some type of medium or something like that. But she has something to say on both her and D'Angelo. Let's see what she said.
Hi everyone, I'm Sloan from SloanBella.com, and I am back with another energetically channeled celebrity musician video. Now this video is very unique in the sense that there are different frequencies going on the entire time that I'm picking up on the energy. And there are multiple timelines playing out for this young woman who passed away on March 1st of 2025. She died in Montgomery, Alabama on her way between gigs with her crew in the Sprinter van when that van got into an accident, and subsequently only one of the 9 people was killed. And it happened to be the late R&B, hip-hop, and neo-soul musician Angie Stone.
Only one. Injured. Killed.
Spans decades. She's
Let me
energetically.
get to
all right, I have to do this. This is happening. This is just ridiculous. It's happening already. I spoke today and I'm like, don't mess up my computer. And it was going really speaks. And again, she wants me to highlight her middle name. That is for somebody out there, and I don't know what that means, but she wants that highlighted. And I think it's a point of contention within the family for some reason. Immediately, she wants me to start talking about the day that she passed. She wants me to talk about it. Now, as I said, her ruling planet is Jupiter. Wait, I have to just get this. I'm being pulled in different directions. Her ruling planet is Jupiter. Jupiter is in Aquarius. At the time of the accident, Pluto was in Aquarius. So Pluto-Jupiter connection on some level. I haven't actually looked at the degree of that, but it's just interesting. They'd be floating around the same house in her natal chart. And again, I do not know her rising sign. Also, she does have Venus conjunct Mars. Venus conjunct Mars is the warring planet with the love planet. So that's a battle of love. It was hard for her to give into that, and then she tried. So there were trust issues immediately. All right, let's get into it. Immediately, right off the bat, she's pointing out the age of 11. And this is when people started to get really mad at her because she changed the direction of her life at age 11. She is kind of allowing me to feel that the family dynamic for her growing up, she wanted the attention of her father and his pride. She wanted him to be like acknowledging of what she was doing, and I don't feel she got that.
Okay, we're going to go past this part.
Focus on.
Okay.
Anyway, she is saying that if that radio frequency frequency and you're a good person and you see somebody injured or you see somebody needing help, you will go over to them and reach out for help. But what if you're helping them is part of a bigger scope of sight that you can't see? So you're reacting from self. I'm a good person. I'm going to help this lady off the street, or I'm going to help this kid or this dog out of the road, whatever it is. And you do so, which then puts them exactly on the X where they can be taken out. Exactly what happened. It was most definitely not an accident in the truest sense of the word. Obviously, it's an accident because it shows up that way, but it's not an accident. She's actually showing me as she gets, for some reason, I'm seeing her get outside of the van and she's fine. I'm seeing her be fine. She is saying it's a setup. 100% it's a setup. She's saying it's a setup. They don't want to deal with me. They don't want to listen to me. She goes all the way back to 2015. They don't want to listen to me and they don't want to deal with me. And fuck them. I'm going to do this. She was pissed. She really, really, really was stubbornly fixated on getting the things that were rightfully hers. So she had a right to them and they were never going to give it to her. Her health was deteriorating. They were trying to buy her back. They were trying to buy her back on her way into this tour. She was never going to complete the tour. She had health issues. So here's what I'm going to say to you, and this is what it makes me feel like. And this is how she's kind of directing me. But I will also say there were health issues in her body and she really wasn't going to live much longer, but they took the last part of my life. See, it's not really up to another person to like take you out 4 years before you're going to pass because of an issue, right? Her health was getting seriously worse and worse and worse. And I don't know if she was on a tour or could have been on a tour at this time or signed up for a tour, but she wasn't going to be able to complete that tour. She was going to be having hospital visits, hospital this, hospital that. I also feel like when I go down to the stomach area, there were so many issues in that area, all areas, with the intestines, with the bowels, with the kidneys, with the liver, like all of it was systematically problematic. And I think it's more than one medical issue. So I think it's more than one thing going on, and she was not physically able to keep up the way she kept up. So her physical health was suffering, and this was problematic for her at the time, but she was trying and doing it.
And that's a fact, because she had that staph infection that almost took her out. And it reminded me, if you watch part one, like I said, it reminded me when Suge Knight said when he did Easy E, that all you had to do was get a syringe with AIDS blood and poke somebody, inject them. That's what that septic thing that almost took her out. And that's in the part one, because it's part two. Let me get past this. Let me
Go to
see.
sleep, and these people would rifle through her shit, steal her shit, steal her information, steal her identity. And I'm talking like on a criminal level, not like in a musical way, which is also criminal, but I'm talking about use it in other ways. They were putting spells on her, magic. She's being gang stalked. So I know people get confused with that. Like, what does that mean? So when we talk about being gang stalked, it's the same thing she's talking about, the timeline and the clothesline. If somebody, and yes, you don't have to be famous to be gang stalked. You have to resonate an energy at a certain frequency, and they don't like you. So, and who's the they? Our captors on the planet, or the people that rule the planet, or the people that just go around gang stalking because they're weirdos. Her frequency was in the element of change, and she wasn't actually supposed to die right now. So this was a hit on her. She is talking about being undermined, which is gang stalking. They make you paranoid. They make you afraid. They fuck with your money. They fuck with your family. They have people in public follow you. That's what she's talking about. A lot of the people in public that follow you, now she's famous, so they may have recognized her and she may have put it off to the side like that. But if you're a person who's being gang stalked like she was and you're not famous and you're wondering when the fuck's this guy keeps showing up, it's because it's frequency tagged, okay? The frequency that you resonate at, like the clothesline, whatever that means, that frequency is tagged to respond when it's activated. So
Damn, that's deep. That's deep.
programming, and the frequency is responding to the energy of that timeline. That's gang stalking. She's also making me feel like money exchanged hands for her life. So money exchanged hands. In other words, there was a payoff for somebody. To me, that has to be somebody in the roadway causing a commotion and causing chaos. And then what happens after chaos is caused, but you're not dead? So the beginning fact is to disorient or chaos. One cannot respond properly, even if they've like tripped and fallen on the ground. It takes them a while.
Because she said, and she wasn't the only one that said when she got out the van, she was alive. Man, I'm telling you. Well, we know she was sacrificed. Let me see.
But when the van rolled, I think she would have lived after that had she not gotten injured outside of the van. Like this, just like might have pushed her right back into the van. I mean, the outside of the van or under the van or into it somehow. Because she was moved, but she was on the target location. So she was physically had to walk there. That's how it feels. Very confused. She kind of shows me like, so the way that she left her body, I'm asking her because everybody's different and I feel it different from everybody. I think it's unique, like a thumbprint. I think we leave. She's laughing because she's going, oh, you think it's unique, do you? She's like, no, she's saying, okay, when I say she's saying, I'm just picking up on the energy of it. So the vibration around the feeling of her passing is that it wasn't special to her. This has happened multiple times. They threw her off of balance so that when she left her physical body, she's going out through the right side, like a corkscrew. The energy's like this, like that, corkscrew out the right side. Immediately, she was unsure what happened, but then understood what happened and is not settled with it, you bunch of... She's not settled with it. Not settled with it at all. Not set.
And the people she trusted was a part of it. Now, this is what she said about D'Angelo. We're going straight to D'Angelo now.
Hi, everyone.
And I'm going to get straight to it.
If it wants to drink, market you that way when you've had this trauma happen to you and you come out here and then it just opens the door for every other strange person on planet Earth. It was marked from childhood. The childhood that he grew up in, where the family, I believe the father was a preacher, the information and the disconnect between family when he chose to go the way that he did and the family chose to stay rooted in what they did, the outcome is still the same. So he's basically pointing out to me that the religious upbringing that he experienced in his life was also detrimental on a soul level, as was the music that he experienced in his life, also detrimental. I do feel that when he was early 12 through 14, that 2-year time frame, I do feel that he made some sort of a deal, but here's the way that I'm being shown it. So if you have the creative ability, if you have a God-given talent, so you're born with a God-given talent, whatever it may be, in his case, music, and the understanding of music and the vibration and the way to play it and the way to create it, that's your God-given gift. The other energy comes in and it's opened up through the religious ideation in the home. So he was ripe for it due to the religious I guess it opened up the frequency in the home to him growing up. Certain things open us up. They affect us on a soul level. They open the door and in it comes. So he's kind of showing me that he was ripe and he was just damaged enough as a kid. Of course, you're on planet Earth. We get that. But he was just uncertain enough. And that's what he means by damage, that... Oh, no, he's talking about other things too. Sorry. There are other things that went on in his childhood that put up... undermining of self for him. But he's talking about that, and so he's seeing things psychically or intuitively, if you want to put it like that, and he's wanting to follow that instruction because it feels like that instruction is going to give him what he wants in this place on Earth. It's going to give him the...
Okay, let me go past this.
Feedback that would never stop. So everywhere he went, he heard things. Do you like that? Do you hate this? Do you like that? You're good. You're bad. You're this. It was conflicted in his head. He struggled with that. He also had a perfectionistic tendency. So there was the frequency of I need to be perfect. Once they put in the sex symbol thing, that drove him crazy. He's a Libra moon. He was always going to be attractive, even if he wasn't, quote, technically attractive. People are going to look at him and go, yeah, he's attractive. So that should have never been an issue for him, except that the energy's flipped. Now, I'm asking specifically about when he died. He literally is showing me... He's showing me the streets and I don't know if he liked to run or he's running away from something, but he's showing me the streets and like running down the streets, but he's really quick, but he's wearing regular clothes. So I don't know if he's running from somebody or actually literally running just because, but he's running real super quick, looking around, trying to figure out how he can outrun the frequency. How can I outrun the program? How can I outrun the frequency? I don't want to keep doing this. That's why he got sick. I don't want to keep doing this. He's talking about his illness being connected to drugs, alcohol, sex, all kinds of things, all kinds of sex, not just one kind of sex, a lot of sex, different kinds of sex. Shit he didn't want to do, shit he didn't want to talk about, shit he didn't want to think about. And when I look in your eyes, I see it in my eyes. So he had to distance himself from a lot of people in the industry because of what he sees in their eyes that come through his eyes. In other words, I did that, I know you did that. So there was this feeling of like, I don't want to do this anymore. I do think there was trauma in a sexual way that made him kind of go both ways, to tell you the truth. I'm just going to say it like that. I don't know how else to word it. But there was this like, I'm going to go this way. If I have to do this, I have to do this. But I don't want to do this. But this is what I got to do because they tell me. So there's that.
Yep, he sold his soul. There it is. He took the homosexual way. Damn.
Frequency of like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. And then the voices don't stop. So he's saying, this is what he's saying. Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry. He's making me laugh. He's like, he's using very interesting. He's putting up like this. He's putting this up across, like he just did this in my face. Meaning that's the image that came to mind. I don't know what he means by that, but that's what he's doing. Kind of reminds me of the X-Man movie. I don't know why I want to say that. Or X or the X-Man. He's doing that. But he's telling me that he agreed to the terms of the deal and that he couldn't shut his voice off after he agreed to the terms of the deal. And he's showing me that there's like groups of people that agree to certain things and that when they agree to them, that they go into that frequency where they become successful and famous. And he tried not to. He undermined people. He overthrew people. He did all kinds of things, but more importantly, he did it to himself. He didn't want to do that to himself. He did have a lot of health issues, but his health issues were caused by his weirdness, his phobias, his frequency of not wanting to be heard and not wanting to be seen. So like, I think he's Aquarius, so they do weird things, but it's like, I'm only going to eat a diet of this. So I'm not going to have any other food for like 10 months. I'm just going to eat this. I'm just going to drink this. I'm just going to do this. He got a little bit Howard Hughes-ish. A little bit like Howard Hughes in his thinking because the voices wouldn't stop, which then made him paranoid. Then he didn't trust everybody. And he noticed he was sick when he started sweating a lot. So there was a lot of sweating. Around 2018 is when I feel that this was really problematic for him on a physical level. I don't know. Okay. Part of the way that he treated his body helped further the way that he got sick. So part of the way that he fed himself either kept his mind rolling in circles. Obviously, drugs and alcohol make you a target to crazy thinking, but just like the frequency of what was going on around him was so problematic. The pancreatic cancer is interesting. I don't pick up cancer in his body, but no one ever hired me to be a doctor, so that would make sense.
They ain't never said he had cancer. Let me go past this because this is interesting.
I'm getting teeth infections. My heart's beating weird. I'm paranoid. I don't trust you. I don't trust the mailman. I don't trust my neighbor who I know. I don't trust you. Why are you talking to me? And every time someone's talking to him, they're talking to him. So if you and I are talking to him, he's hearing different wording that's making him suspect of what we're saying. So there's a frequency with him. The camera just stopped for some reason. We got cat attack, a camera attack. So his energy is really, really clicking. The voices are making him feel a certain way because this is what he's showing me. Okay. So when they send out a spiritual attack, especially if you've been in the industry and you've been accepted and you've opened that doorway and you've invoked that into your life on some level, and I don't care who you are, I don't care if you're him, I don't care if you're Prince, I don't care if you're whoever, it does not matter. Once you open the doorway, the dirt stays in your frequency, okay? And you, of course, can get rid of it, but that doesn't mean you aren't going to suffer here. Because as much as you can get rid of it, at least in a spiritual sense, you're still going to be living on earth with the attachments to your energy field. So what?
Damn, that's deep. That's deep.
And he's saying they follow and talk and talk. I see like a line of negative kind of conversation in each.
Exactly, money. Exactly.
He had a lot of attachments on him. So he had a lot of attachments, and that's from dirty sex, and that's from dirty drugs, and dirty alcohol, and dirty food, and dirty water is what he's saying. I have no idea. Okay, weird. I'm going to go back to... I'm going back to Howard Hughes, and there's a P reference in there, but I'm going back to him recognizing when he's physically trying to get better that he can't. Something's happening to his body and he doesn't understand it. Like so many things happen. Obviously, when you get a little bit older, he was only 51. That's not particularly hugely older, especially if you can keep yourself in shape. But every time he kept himself in shape, they undermined him with these bad thoughts. And then he would go and do things almost like a compulsive zombie. I'm going to go do this. And I'm going to go smoke this. I'm going to go eat this. I'm going to go drink this. I'm going to go fuck this. And then it wasn't working at all. At the end of his life, none of his body was functioning right, but I don't know that it's cancer specifically. It may have been, but that's not how I think he died. They say that's how he died because maybe that's what was underneath. But I'm telling you, he was in the shower. He was wet. He was naked and he was covering. He hates being fucking naked, by the way. That's a form too. When you see that in spirit, it can be vulnerable. But when I watch him cross over, I'm asking where he is. And he says, I'm still pacing. I'm still pacing. I'm still pacing. I'm still pacing. He gets very amped up like this. Then I get amped up. Then the cat gets amped up. He's still pacing. So he's not like freed himself yet. I think when he crossed out, he went into a dimension and he covered himself. So he doesn't really understand what happened to him. He was just there. He blocked himself and then he's there. And so it was very confusing. And then he shows me, okay. I don't know whose dinner party this was, but he attended a dinner party about 2 years before he passed. Somebody's dinner party. And he calls this person the king. I don't know who it is. I can only think of Elvis, but that's not who we're talking about. He calls this person the king and basically shows me like... Okay, that's weird. Here we go. Can anybody tell me if he was in England about 2 years before he passed or somewhere in that time frame? Because there's a connection, very odd, but to the king. There's a connection. I keep hearing that, and I don't know what that means, but the way that he's showing me the outfit, it looks like the British king. And I don't know what that connection would be, but there is some sort of a connection. He definitely was webbed. He shows me a web around the body. He shows me crossing over and they've like bound him, but he's getting free. There are people that are helping move the understanding forward. And I guess we're talking about it. He just recently passed and it's very sad for his family. It's very sad. I think he had 3 children and that's a horrible thing. He was a young man, basically. I mean, he had a good 20 years left, but he's showing me the web around him. Like, oh, I get it. I get it. Definitely someone stole his music. That's what he's showing me. He's showing they're going to try to clone him. He doesn't mean actually clone him. He means clone his style and his essence. And they bound him and put his energy into this guy through the music. So they did steal his music. I don't know who the they is. I'm assuming it's the record label wanting to get their money off your back. I'm assuming it's the record label because he's showing me he's in a cocoon and he's about to be reborn. So probably...
That make perfect sense. So the family filed a suit against Clive Davis and UMG to get the money for Angie Stone. Then they say, well, no, we ain't giving you shit. We gonna take out your daddy. to scare them from the lawsuit, because you ain't heard nothing else about that lawsuit from his son and Angie daughter. This is real interesting. This done blew me away. What y'all think about? This done blew me away. I'm gonna play a little bit more of
March
this.
of this coming year, and I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't like the beginning of March, like when Angie died. They'll use the frequencies of all of this, but there will be a musician that will come up that will sound just like D'Angelo and be like referenced like that. They'll market him like that. While D'Angelo's energy stays stuck back here until that gets leased. That's why he doesn't know where he is. They have to do something with the energy before this person is leased or out in public or presented. This is this person, and he reminds us of this person. You know how they're always saying that with celebrities? You remind me of.
That is deep. That's all I got to say. This so man down.
What's going on with that D'Angelo situation? I'm going to first give you some background information on him.
We gonna go past the background because we already know that.
And it was just looking like, how in the fuck did he learn how to play that?
I'm gonna go past that.
That can sing like this. So they love D'Angelo and his group at the Apollo Theater to create a masterpiece.
Okay.
Some time passed, my people. And D'Angelo signed with MEI. And then, in 1995, he dropped the Brown Sugar album. Y'all heard about that album? And after that album, he disappeared for a few years. And in the year 2000, he came back with the album called Voodoo. Y'all done heard about that one. And then after that, he released the song, How Does It Feel? And that video and that song, it ended up blowing the fucker up. Catch that song on Fleek. And by the year 2005, it seemed like things start to, go downhill for D'Angelo. He ended up getting a DUI, a coke charge. So they caught him with some coke. And he got into a near fatal car wreck. After that, D'Angelo went ghost for years. He was done with the game. That's what we thought. And then out of nowhere, in the year 2014, he dropped the album Black Messiah. And after that album, D'Angelo stayed quiet again. We ain't hear nothing else from him. He was done, this time for real. Now we fast forward to today. And the news report said that D'Angelo passed away from pancreatic cancer. That's what the news reports told us. But folks asked me, and they say, so madam, what ancestor showed you about this? Because something don't seem right. And ancestor said, bull to the shittika. This what happened to D'Angelo was a straight fucker sacrifice. Now I guess to say allegedly. But if you get it, then you got it. Catch that on Fleek. Ancestors gave it to me like this. Now some people, they may have forgot that back in 2005, out of here on that day. But he ended up surviving.
Damn.
The PTB, they tried to take him out back then. Because D'Angelo, he didn't want to play the fucker game. He didn't want to play the game no more. Matter of fact, He didn't want to get in too deep. He didn't want to get in too deep, y'all. Certain things D'Angelo wasn't willing to do. And a car crash that didn't take D'Angelo out back then. They made sure that car crash took Angie Stone up out of here when they sacrificed her. D'Angelo and Angie Stone, they was connected. Not only through sex, not only through sexual relations, they was connected. And that rabbit hole go deeper. I told y'all, the PTB don't fuckers forget. They come back later on. And guess what? That's right. They get it back in blood. The PTB says shit, Shika. So before D'Angelo try to come back and start telling all this shit to so we're gonna go ahead and what? And collect them out now. They set up the sacrifice date. And D'Angelo became the what? Sacrificial lamb. And I want y'all to know this. D'Angelo already knew eventually that they was gonna come for him. He already knew it. I told y'all in part 1 of the Angie Stone video that I did, how the PTB do some sacrifices in sequences.
Now that confirmed what Sloan said. She said sequences, but it's frequency. Damn.
Completed that sequence when they got D'Angelo up out of here. Y'all know how we do it over here. Murder by them fuckers' numbers. D'Angelo, he passed away on October the 14th, 2025. Let's add that up and see what we get. 1 plus 1 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5 equal what? 15. 1 plus 5 equal what? 6. They go to 6 right there. He died at age 51. 5 plus 1 equal what? 6. They go another 6. Somebody say, what are 3 so? Well, let's add those 6s together and see what we get. 6 plus 6 equal what? 12. 1 plus 2 equal what? 3. They go to 3 right there. And when you put it together, you clearly get what? The 3-6 murder.
Murder by number.
By them fuckers' numbers. I know y'all see it. They came back and they collected. That's what happened. And she will be back. Y'all be good.
Man. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that because we know he sabotaged his career. Let me see, do I want... Oh, yeah, just 2 more. This is what Al B. Sure had to say. He been saying a lot lately since Diddy been locked up.
Taken out before her time. Now, as most of you know, these years, and I'm not...
Let me get to that.
Walking test.
Oh.
I said it right. Extremely personal. Realize just how much craziness you had actually. Left Eye from TLC all over again. A tragic.
Okay, we don't have to play that because he didn't say nothing. They just... All right, this is the last one because I wanted to see what she was saying.
As this woman was made to feel hideous, ugly, repulsive, and treated just, I can't even imagine being treated this way. We're going to get into the tragic life of Angie Stone. Was she a sacrifice? Who set her up? What is going on? This video is wild, okay? We're going to talk about it. But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Kareen Allude, where we break down and
I love her. It's Kareen Allude.
If you're not yet subscribed, please be sure to water by singing catchy commercial jingles.
Let me just see. I'm gonna go
Of that
past
behind the
this.
scenes, and to the point where they said it was better for him. It was a better look to be with Vivica Fox, and Vivica Fox was not interested. It was just like, okay. A lot of people thought that Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan was like, it's just so shady, but that's just how the industry was.
I kept saying someone's head.
Okay, we done. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. This was part 2, and then I'm gonna get back on some serious shit about what's going on in around the world with this damn ice. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit that like button. Now, I did this on my phone. How do I? Oh, right here. Okay.